Hi everybody, this is number 5A from the 2018 FRQ, and this is no calculator. And I just wanted to remind you, if you wanted to try this on your own, like read this and pause and see how far you can get on your own, I think that's a really good idea, because obviously these videos are just me going through the steps, and it's not giving you the practice of reading and really trying to figure out how to do this on your own. So I really strongly recommend you trying that, because our exam is coming up in just a couple weeks now. Is it 1, 2, about 3 weeks. All right, so number 5 says f is the function defined by f of x equals e to the x power times cosine of x. And part A is a pretty quick 1-point question. It says find the average rate of change of f on the interval 0 to pi. So first I want to ask you, what does rate of change mean? And that is slope. And then second, what does it mean when they're looking for the average rate of change? I guess I would ask, how many points are you going to be using? Average rate of change uses 2 points. And so the way that you're going to find the slope between 2 points is something you've been doing for years now, and that is the slope formula. Okay, and then what are your points? So the points that they gave you to use are 0 and pi. And what they did not give you, so you already know your x values, what they did not give you is your y values. So my next question for you is, how are you going to get the y values? And you will get the y values by plugging them in to the function. So your first x value is 0, and I'm going to use function notation so it is super clear what I'm doing. I'm plugging in 0 to the f function. So that would give me e to the 0 and cosine of 0. Right? The 0 is getting plugged in for both of those x values. E to the 0 power, what is that equal to? It's equal to 1. And then for cosine of 0, this is what my juniors are learning right now, this unit circle, 0 radians is here. What are the coordinates there? The coordinates are 1, 0, and which one is the cosine? The cosine is the first one, right? It's alphabetical order. Cosine is first in the alphabet, then sine. So cosine is the 1. So at 0 radians, the cosine is 1. So cosine of 0 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And then I'm going to also just write that as a nice ordered pair right here. So when x is equal to 0, the y value or the output is 1. We're going to do the same thing with pi. And I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so for the second and final x value of pi, we're going to plug in pi. So plugging in pi to the original function, again, there's my really clear notation to show the reader what I'm doing. E to the pi cosine of pi. So this is a no calculator question. E to the pi, you're going to have to just leave it because, oops, that is my alarm going off. Because you have like E is around 2.7, pi is around 3.14, you're just leaving it. Then you have cosine of pi. So pi is over here. What are the coordinates there? -1 and 0. Which one is the cosine? -1. So cosine of pi is -1, and so that output is -e to the pi. And again, as an ordered pair, pi was my x value, and my y value or my output was -e to the pi. So here are my coordinates, 0, 1, and pi -e to the pi. And what is this question asking me for? It wants the average rate of change. It wants the slope between those 2 points. So the very last thing you'll do is use your slope formula between 0, 1 and pi -e to the pi and find the slope, and that's it. So I'm going to subtract the y values, negative e to the pi minus 1. I'm going to subtract the x values, pi minus 0. You could also have 1 minus negative e to the pi and 0 minus pi. That would be the same thing. So it doesn't matter what you're using as x1, right? This x1, y1, x2, y2, or you can have those labeled differently. This is what I did the first time. I used that format, negative e to the pi minus 1. Pi minus 0 is pi. You do not have to simplify that. As you know, you can just leave it. So as I said, this is a 1-point question. The average rate of change, the slope between the 2 points. They have some fancy function notation they're using there. You can use it or not use it, whatever. This is all they're going to be looking for. Negative e to the pi minus 1 over pi for that point. Great job.